And I'm gonna chase it. And I'm gonna chase it. I know we can't ignore it. And I'm gonna chase it. And I'm gonna chase it. I know we can't ignore it.
At least I don't wee out of my bum.
Why are you just looking at me? What are you just staring at me for?
That is the stuff!
Oh, fuck off, I love it.
Is this a humiliation stick?
There, Stu Goldsmith here. Welcome to NextUp Nows virtual venue for Discover, the newly branded Discover. This is a hosted discovery / Q&A / in-depth, no-holds-barred discussion in which a guest joins me for all available topics. We are getting to know some of the best comedians in the world in an in-depth, possibly revealing, but always entertaining fashion. What makes them tick? We're going to ask them to show us their daily routines, their favourite drinks. We're going to ask them whether or not they're surreptitiously eating a penguin at this very moment. As well as the bigger questions from the best sock in your sock drawer to the light-hearted questions about the meaning of life, so on and so forth. Welcome to NextUp Nows Discover. Tonight we discover Luisa Omielan. Welcome, Luisa. How you doing?
Hi, Stu. It's so nice to talk to you again. I love talking to you.
It's great to see you as well, and we've not seen each other for years, which is, it sort of quickly becomes almost years, doesn't it?
I know, it's been a long time. It's been ages. It must be, because last time I saw you, you came to my flat. I was living in Kentish Town in London.
Yes.
Yeah, and my friend's got this amazing, like, loft-style flat in Kentish Town. Like, from the outside, you wouldn't see, but from as soon as you go in, it's gorgeous and magical and huge.
Yes.
And so that must have been, I want to say, 4 or 5 years ago, maybe.
Something like that. I feel like I've seen you in passing since then, but I feel like since that conversation, you have just done the most incredible, explosive, indescribable things. It's been an enormous 4 or 5 years.
Oh, well, it has been enormous in many ways. It's funny that people always, I think, see things very differently to how you believe that they are, don't they? Like, so for you to say that, like, there's me thinking I've achieved nothing and done nothing in my life, and I don't know what I'm doing at 37. I should have frozen my eggs a lot sooner. And there's you being like, you've done extraordinary things. I'm like, maybe I have. Maybe you have. I'm going to apologise for my video, by the way, because my video, I think, is delayed and slow, but hopefully the audio is okay. So
this is a virtual venue. As you can see, I'm wearing a cardigan and a baseball cap. Clearly, I don't give a fuck about visuals. Always lovely there, because to my mind, at least to my on my laptop, your camera is jumping to the extent that you laughed at that and then suddenly had a cup in your hand saying, well, like that for a bank about how to get mortgages or something. It's wonderful. So let's just talk us round the room. Where are you right now? No longer in Kentish Town? Where are you?
No, so I moved to the Midlands. So I live in Birmingham now.
No way.
Park.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And the house, I bought a house. I wanted to get on the property ladder.
Great.
And I tried London, and it was a car parking space in Acton. That's all I could afford for my budget. Yeah. That's what I was shown. Totally. So I was like, right. So my sister lives in the West Midlands, so I came up here, and I bought this house. And I don't know why I bought it. I wasn't thinking clearly at the time. And then within 3 weeks of buying it, it flooded with nearly £40,000 worth of damage. So I couldn't live in it for like
hold
over a year.
Let me stop you there. How does a flood do 40 grand worth of damage? Did you have all your Bitcoin lying around? What was it?
Yeah, so my Bitcoin was just there. Everything was in boxes. It's because I just moved in, so I'd had the house for 3 weeks. Okay. So I had everything.
Jesus, everything was literally on the floor.
Everything was on the floor in boxes.
Okay.
So like just furniture, sofas, clothes. I mean, that's where else does that go? But clothes, boxes of stuff, paper, old stuff, kitchen utensils, everything I bought. Like I had a new washing machine that was on the floor. Like just everything was on the floor, and it was about 4.5 feet of water. So it was a lot of water.
Okay.
So it just destroyed.
I took that. I didn't give that the credit it deserved. 4.5 feet of water.
Yeah. And then it just slowly sunk down.
Where do you live? I'm in Birmingham. What do I know about Birmingham? Canal?
Mate, it's
in
here's what I've learned. A, don't buy on a hill, right? Buy on a hill, number one. Buy on a hill.
Yeah.
And B, check you don't live near a floodplain.
Oh, God. Oh,
So-
well, the great thing about that is that's going to become less and less of an issue as time goes. Oh, no, the other one. Oh, mate. Okay, so you lost. How long ago was this? When did you buy the place?
So this was so I bought this in 2018.
Okay.
So I moved in. Oh my gosh, I moved in April last year. So yeah,
Okay.
it's just been exactly a year.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. Happy 1 year
Thank you.
anniversary. I
Thank
want to get more into your house because I love that feature wall that you've
Well,
got.
so this was what I was going to say. So basically, when it flooded, I thought, well, we may as well just tear up the whole house, like, you know, in for a penny, in for a pound. So I completely gutted the downstairs, took everything out. I moved the kitchen from the back of the house to the middle of the house, so it becomes like the walk-through way is the kitchen.
Oh, sweet.
And then this was the bathroom, but it was a tiny, teeny, tiny bath.
Okay.
And then it had a little baby bedroom behind it. So I swapped it around. So I made the baby bedroom a big bathroom with a bath and a shower. And then this is like the baby bedroom, which I've made into a walk-in makeup room. So I'm in my walk-in makeup area.
Okay, I hope the next thing you're going to tell me is that the device that you're currently connecting with us, whether it's a laptop or a mobile, it can be picked up and walked around.
Well, no, I'm on my laptop, but I think you'll appreciate my stage lights that I've had fitted in my house. Hold on, can you see them? Hold on, tell me you can see them.
You've had fitted. You've literally had. Oh, that's great. Is that around a mirror or around a window?
Yes. That's a mirror there.
Okay,
And
gotcha.
then see, yes, got it. Can you see? I don't know if you can see it or not, but
Very nice.
yeah.
Very nice. That is starry as hell. That's kind of Oscar on the shelf in the toilet kind of material. Now you've gone very quiet, which we're all thinking, tell me in the chat if you think I should have made Luisa pick up her laptop because one of our connections has gone down and I can still see new chat arriving. So I think it's Luisa's. Carlos, do you want to just have a little sort and see if you can get Luisa back? And in the meantime, I will fill by welcoming the people in the chat. Hello, Crelays. How are we pronouncing that? Crelays. Oh, hang on. I think we've got Luisa back. I think we may have Luisa back. I've got no audio from Luisa, but I can see on Twitch. Nope, she may well not be in the room. Well, this is as good a time, as polite a time as any to tell you that you can tip Luisa £10. I think you can tip her. I think is that what? Join. Oh, I see. You can join NextUp. These are the two buttons beneath the chat window, beneath the Twitch window here. One of them is the NextUp button. You can join NextUp, and you will be, if you join NextUp as a result of this, do you know what I'm tripping over is I just don't know the terms. I've just called it the chat window, and it's not, is it? It's the vision window. It's not even a vision window, it's the window. So there's two main buttons. One is you can join NextUp, and if you join NextUp as a result of clicking this button during this interview, then Luisa will get a little kickback, sexy little £10 tip, or you can tip her direct if you're already a NextUp subscriber with the little button adjacent to it, and that goes, all of that money goes direct to Luisa. Now I can see from the window that it's just my face now, so let's meet the people in the chat while we wait for Carlos to reconnect us with Luisa. Otherwise we may end up going for not a couple of short clips from her show Hello Ladies from a few years ago, but conceivably the entire show. Carlos, feel free to whisper to me as I attempt to talk my way through the chat. It says hello. Oh, great. Thanks, Carlos. That's great. Okay, next up, Sarah says, woo, Luisa. Bob Fossil27 says, the Corona bringing people together since 2020. Are we calling it the Corona now? I do like that. People are, obviously, we're all going to have as people, lovely Histor Crow is now following. Is that Histor as in Histor's eye? Egg like an egg. How wonderful. We're going to look back at this pandemic period, and there's going to be reams of comedy made about it at next year's Edinburgh Festival, and perhaps we'll get onto that issue later on. But what are we going to call it? What are we going to look back and call it? Are we going to call it the virus, the pandemic? I referred to the whole shebang as pandemia earlier on in a text, and I felt pretty clever about it too. Bits and Bob says the audio is good. Bob Fossil loves the lights, and Histor Crow has joined us and followed, as previously mentioned. While we wait for Luisa to get back to us, let's dive straight into this show. I'm going to give you a little now. Let's just improvise an intro to it. I believe this is the show Am I Right, Ladies? Carlos, could you just confirm or deny that? It is. So I can tell you it was created in 2015 and from Louisa's own website. Luisa, incidentally, is a BAFTA Breakthrough Brit 2018. The Guardian called her one of the biggest stand-up hits of the decade. And so she did a show called What Would Beyonce Do? And she toured it all over the place, all around the world for a few years. And then the follow-up show is called Am I Right, Ladies? Something like 40 million people, I think, have seen her material about the thigh gap. Maybe we're going to see that clip. Maybe it's something different. This is Am I Right, Ladies? From Luisa Omielan, who we hope to be speaking to shortly after the clip.
Welcome to Am I Right, Ladies? Oh, thank you. Thank you. My name is Luisa Omielan. And my last show was really successful. The Guardian was like, oh my days, it's like the biggest stand-up hit of the last decade. Whatever, babe, whatever. Right? And my last show's called What Would Beyonce Do? Give me a cheer if you've ever seen What Would Beyonce Do? I mean, that's how successful it was, babe. And I've got a confession to make about my last show. Like, I didn't actually write it. No. Because you see, it kind of wrote itself because at the time, I was really depressed, right? I was really depressed because at the time, my ex-boyfriend dumped me and he started dating somebody else really quickly. Like, you know when they move on to the next one seamlessly and they leave, like, no gap between you and the next one? And you're left feeling a little bit like, I'm here to remind you! Let it go, let it go. My career wasn't going the way I wanted it to, right? So I found myself approaching 30 and I moved back into my mum's house and she turned my bedroom into an office, so it was really fun sleeping on a photocopier. Right? And I was depressed, and here's the thing about depression, here's what you need to understand about depression. When you're depressed, you're hilarious. Yeah. You're pretty fucking funny when you're like that, babe. You're pretty fucking funny. And, well, I mean, I hate to break it to you guys, but I'm doing all right now. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know. You cheer. Let's see how funny, happy he is, shall we? It seems to me, right, no matter how well things are going or however long it takes you to achieve something, once you finally get to a place where you feel like things are going all right, there's always something to get in the way, isn't it? There's always some reason to feel not quite completely good enough. And it's weird because in my life, I've learned my happiness is so important. I realise what's important to me and what I need in my life for fulfilment. And actually, it's so simple, it's so obvious. All I need to be happy, all I really want in life to be happy, is I just want a penis! Right? I just want a penis! I've got lots of willies, but they're in the drawer, and a penis with a man on the end! That's what I want, bitches! That's what I deserve! That's what I deserve! I want a penis, oh, do I want a dick. I want the kind of penis that every time it sees me, it goes, yay, it's Luisa! That's what I want. I want the kind of penis that other bitches will see my penis, they'll be like, oh, that's a nice penis, oh. And they'll be like, oh, hi, Mr. Penis. And my penis, he'll be like, no, thank you. It's a loyal penis, that's why. He's a loyal penis. And then bitches get clever, because I know how we do. So I'll be like, oh, I'll try to be more like Luisa. I'll be like, oh, crazy Luisa, yeah. And my penis, you'll have him for a second, because you can be a bit slow. For a second, he'll be like, huh? Well, it looks like Luisa. And it sounds like Luisa. But I don't think it's Luisa. And then I'll come along in like a kung fu outfit in disguise, being like, I'm Chinese! And my penis will be like, yay, Luisa's home! That's what I want. I want to be wooed. I want love. I want to be treated like I'm at some kind of Hollywood film. I want a guy to see me and be like, I never treated you like a prostitute. You're just dead. That's what I want. That's what I deserve. And do you know what annoys me when I tell people I want a penis? Do you know what annoys me? The judgment. Look at your bitches' faces right now. Look at the judgment on your bitches' faces right now. When I say I want a penis, is that all you want in life, babe? Is that your only aspiration in life, is to have a penis? I've come here to see this uplifting, empowering show just so you can tell me all you want in life is a penis. Do you know who says that? Do you know who says that? Bitches in relationships, that's who. Yeah. 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 Not single women, is it? No, it's never single women. No one's fucking thirsty when the tap's running all day, are they, babe? No. And let me just clarify something, bitches, right? It's not just me that needs a penis. Penises need me. Word up, right? Because every guy I have ever knobbed has gone on to do really fucking well at life. Yeah. It's a gift. Because I don't know about you lot, when I meet them, ladies, they're in that beautiful, like, that cocoon phase, that pre-butterfly phase where they're like, oh, I'm so emotionally retarded and still live in my mum's basement. Oh, help me. I see that hot mess. I go all Coldplay on him. I'm like, I will try to fix you. We have sex and all of a sudden they're Prince Charming for the next bitch that comes along. You welcome, babe, you welcome. Yeah, it's really fun being training wheels. I'm tired of it. It happens to me all the time, right? Every time it's happened to me. I had sex with this guy, right? He was unemployed. He didn't have a job for like 8 months. We had sex. He now works at IBM. Why? My vagina. I had sex with a dude with commitment issues. He was like, I love you, but no, I'm going to marry you. Fuck it, I won't. We had sex. He's now engaged, bitches. Yeah, somebody else, not me. Why? My vagina. And I'm starting to think it's happening that often that it can't be a coincidence. No, my friends, this is a gift. My vagina heals people. My vagina heals people. Because that's my gift. My vagina heals people. I fucked a dude with no legs. Right, we had sex. He now plays for Chelsea. My vagina heals people. But I'm tired of healing people all day long. And just being left by myself in a wet patch on the floor, crying my eyes out. So, whilst the whole world is conspiring against me and doesn't want me to have a penis, I've decided to do the honourable thing and instead focus on my career. So, yawn, here I am.
Okay, that was Luisa Omielan. She's back now, and I can only apologise, Luisa, for making you pick your laptop up, which clearly was a terrible idea.
Sorry, this is so annoying. I hate everything. I love this house. I'm very lucky to be here. But why does the Wi-Fi work for 23 hours of the day, and then the 1 hour that you need it because you're streaming to you, does it decide? The whole house just went, no Wi-Fi.
Listen, this is your stock in trade, Luisa. You're looking very glamorous, but you're also undergoing a typically mundane and painful thing that everyone has to go through, and that's where you're funniest. That's where you're most at home. Before we continue, I just want to thank a couple of people. Tim Buhara just tipped, Thigh Gap just tipped, and so did Johnny Meese. All of these people tipped Luisa cash money using the button below the little Twitch window there. Luisa, next up, don't take a cut of that. Whatever's left over after Twitch have got their mitts into it is Louisa's alone. So thank you very much to all those guys. And thanks to Lisa McGee6 for following as well. Thanks for following the stream. So, Louisa, tell me about that room. That was enormous. This is I remember seeing you in the underbelly at Edinburgh, whenever it was, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Yeah. And it was clear that people were standing up going bananas. That was Beyonce's show, your first show. So this is the follow-up show. And did you crowdfund the show, the tour, the room?
So I really wanted to get it. I was so, do you know what? When I first started doing stand-up, I was so eager beaver to be famous and well-known and just massive. I just wanted to be, I was so proud of my shows. And I was like, these need to be everywhere. And if you're not going to give me a Netflix deal, then I'll do it myself. And so I crowdfunded the show because I just wanted it to be accessible to people around the world. And this was just after I was just about to do a thigh gap joke. So a thigh gap joke I did was in this show. And I can't remember if it was before or afterwards, but that joke went mad. It went everywhere.
Yeah.
And that joke had like 50 million views. And I wanted that show to be seen by people because there's so many important things that I talked about, like body image and mental health. And this was back in 2000, 14 or whatever, before it became sexy to do all these things that we do now. And my audiences have always been so supportive, and they were like, well, we'll help you film it. Like, how do you film it? How do you make it film? And it was through following people like yourself and seeing like dweebs on the internet just doing shit for themselves. I was like, oh, okay. I crowdfunded it. How do I crowdfund something? Okay, that looks cool. I'll try that. And so they raised like, I want to say £15,000, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I hired a team, and I had all like a professional crew and the director and everything. And I hired the Bloomsbury Theatre, which is where that was shot.
Yeah.
And I recorded it, and I'm so proud. I'm so grateful and lucky that I recorded it, because now I look back, if I hadn't have done, I wouldn't have any record of that show. So, it was
That's
great.
incredible. That's incredible. Tell me a bit more. Let's drill into the specifics, and Carlos will tell me if this is too com to be to be what we're doing here. Tell me about the specifics of crowdfunding, because we're here at the moment where people are tipping. There's individuals watching this, and we're part of this big wave of you've got your stuff on NextUp, and this is part of this. The whole virtual venue idea that NextUp Now are doing is to try to support comics during the pandemic, and as well as get material out there, discuss it, analyze it, and get stuck into the guts of comedy. But like right now we're participating in crowdfunding, but this is a fairly recent sort of a thing, and 5 years ago it was even more nascent and undiscovered. So when you say your audience said you should crowdfund it, what was what did you kind of go, I'm going to spend a day learning about this, or did you read a book about it, or did you talk to people about it? How did you get stuck in?
Stuart, do you know me? No, I didn't do anything. I didn't do any of those things. I was like, who knows more about this shit than I do? You help me work it out. You do it, and I'll just come along. So it's interesting, actually. Actually, it's a really interesting time because, and I'm totally going to veer off, but I am going to come back. So, like, I don't know about yourself, but like, I'm self-employed, right? So I'm a self-employed company. So I'm my own company, but I only hire myself. And very often in the arts, if you work in TV or comedy or thingies, you need to be a company, obviously, to get paid or employment, and we work for other people. So we hire theatres, we hire venues, and people don't realise that often if you hire a venue, you're not just hiring a building like a roof, you're hiring the security, the bar staff, the door staff. There's so many, like a hairdresser, do your hair, like a makeup artist, a taxi, and everything else around it. So I've got my own little business, right? And with comedy, there seems to be several trajectories, and one of them is to get on telly quick and to get on telly as soon as you can, and then TV can help you build up your career. And it's all about exposure, and if you've got the exposure, luckily what comes with that is the financing. Hopefully, normally it's the finances, the fans, the money, everything else. And if you don't have the TV exposure, it's the old school way of going touring, gigging, getting your audience, getting your fan base, solidifying it. And it was those guys that I had that has my core fan base from the Beyonce show, actually, because the Beyonce show started on the underground, and people were, I think I was a bit of an underdog. They really, they clung to me and they didn't let go.
Well, that show was a phenomenon. That was a phenomenon. The amount of energy in that show. I felt watching that for the first time. You were speaking to people who had never had anyone speak for them before. You were speaking to young working class women, and you were talking about getting smashed, trouble finding a partner, mental health, all that kind of stuff. And you were talking their language, and it had so much energy and vitality. And it was like it was almost as if, and I mean this in a very positive way, it was as if you'd never seen a stand-up show. Luisa, we're live back on Twitch. Don't say fuck or bollocks. Of course, you can say both of those things. Hello again. Apologies to everyone, and thank you to all of you who stayed with us. I believe we are twitching once again. I'm just going to make sure the various... Yes, we are. There we go. I can see our faces. Great times. Louisa, where were we? Let's launch straight back. You've just frozen now.
Oh,
Don't you
no.
freeze on me, Louisa.
Where
There you
did
go.
I
I've got you. So we were talking excitedly about the Beyonce show and about the enormous energy of your audience and the fact that, and I think it's absolutely true, you were doing not just crowdfunding, but kind of building a fan base on your own terms, differently to how anyone else had done it.
Which is really exciting, and I think they're the ones that have taught me, rather than me come up with the ideas to crowdfund or to crowdsource or any of that. The answer for me has always been to look back to my audience. So every time I was chasing things and so aware of the treadmill of how you progress in comedy, like I say, you try and get TV or you try and get on panel shows, you try and get things commissioned, and those things are wonderful to be able to get hold of, but if you're not getting them, how do you maintain a career? And the way to maintain a career is through having a fan base, I think, and through creating content for that audience. So I was really lucky. So they crowdfunded my DVD, but more recently, my friend Darshan, who's amazing, shout out Darshan, he helped me. So I wanted to go to New York and do a show off Broadway, and he helped me crowdfund a run off Broadway. So I did a run off Broadway recently in New York, and they crowdfunded 25k. Yeah,
Incredible.
so I got 25k. Yeah, so my target was 15, and then I got 25, and then I only lost 11. Woohoo! I hit for the debt of 11.
What you spent the 25 and you spent another 11.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, I spent the 25, then I spent another how much more I spent? 14, and then I lost 11.
Okay. Oh my god.
I can't remember.
We won't get too far into
I lost
the
11k.
Oh my god. Tell us
But it's
about
fine.
Broadway.
So
because that's a whole different thing, right? That's a whole different slice of. I mean, I remember talking to you years ago, and you were still frustrated you weren't gigging at Jongleurs, which now no longer exists. You were like, I never managed to get on the circuit. I'm like, piss off, mate. Broadway. Tell me how Broadway was. What was the highlight? What did you expect? What went wrong? What went well? Tell me the whole deal.
It all went wrong, Stuart. It all went wrong. This is why you shouldn't do things yourself, right? Sit down, know your bloody place in life. Stop trying to get somewhere that clearly the universe doesn't want you to go to.
Come on. How did it? What do you mean? Tell us. Go on. Tell us. Give us the concrete stuff. What? If something went wrong, tell us what went wrong, and then I will pull you. I'll press you on the bits that worked.
Okay, a few things. So one of the things was the venue. They didn't tell me that they were having building work going on whilst I was there at the venue.
Okay.
So I'm on stage and I hear this drilling. And I'm like, what's that? And it's builders drilling in the floor above me whilst I'm on stage. And I have to ask one of my 12 audience members if they'd mind going to the box office girl and asking her to tell the builders to shut the fuck up. That was on the third night. On the second night, I was in the dressing room, which hadn't been cleaned for about 40 years.
Yeah.
It was disgusting. And I'm underneath the stage, and there's the guys are on stage, and what they didn't tell me is that they'd also been flooded, and the flood water had gone, but the building had absorbed loads of water.
Okay.
And it had been really hot. So all the plaster was failing. So I was in the dressing room, and as the people were on stage above me in the dressing room, the ceiling starts falling in.
Jeez.
On me in the dressing room. And I shit myself, and I'm like, guys, the ceiling's falling on my head. And they were like, oh, don't worry, it'll be fine. So then I went back, then they had building work. Then the following, I thought, okay, come on, you're a big girl, you can do this. Go back the following weekend. Come on, you can do this. Then I went back the following weekend, and there was a box office girl, and I said, oh, I can't get into the theatre, like it's shut. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry. And I was like, well, that's fine, babe, but I need somebody to let me in. And she was like, oh, is there no tech there? There should be a tech. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't know where the tech is. Well, can you call him? Because I'm about to go on stage like it's 22.
Oh my God. Okay.
And the tech forgot. The tech forgot that he had a show, because they all smoke weed out there and then forget that they have a job.
And that's very good timing. I know there's a slight lag on the Twitch, but as you said that, Bob Fossil 27 said, God, that's sounds like so many of my holidays. So listen, what was let's focus on the positives.
No.
no. I've got one more. One more.
Go on, fire away.
I mean, there was lots more, but one more. So I was really excited because I thought the universe was like giving me signs and like making this whole trip happen. Because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be a star. I'm going to do well in America. It'll be easy. I'll get an agent. I'll get a manager. I'll have a career. I'll buy a house with white picket fence, like in The Notebook. It's going to be great. And I couldn't find accommodation anywhere. The accommodation was all like for a 6-week stay. The accommodation with the dogs, I have a dog with me, Bernie, was in the region of 12 to 25,000 plus pounds, right? For that long with a dog.
Oh my God. So
I found a place that was 30,000 and I thought, fuck it. If you're charging that much for a place, you clearly don't need the money really. So I emailed her and said, look, I haven't got 30, but I've got 10. You can Google me. Here I am. Yeah. Here's my details. You can find me. La la. And she wrote back and she agreed to it. She was an artist and she agreed to it.
Incredible.
She said yes. So I had this amazing apartment. On pictures, it looked amazing.
And how long till it flooded?
No, it didn't flood. So I rocked up. Bearing in mind, it had been like a God knows how long hour flight. I didn't realise from the airport there is actually a limit on how much they can charge you for an inner city cab. So I got charged like $290 for what should have been $50. I didn't realise. It just all went wrong from day one. Got in the flat. God. And there's this giant cage that's the size of maybe like a large single bed, right? In the middle of the room, like a big cage. And in it, she has a mannequin of a dead child sleeping. I know. Thank you. Thank you.
Did you make it out alive? Am I talking to a ghost of you? Go on.
And what she had in it, what she was an artist that believed in like, different textures. And in the cage, normally she has mice, and it's a flesh-eating mice installation for us to enjoy the art.
Oh God! Well, we are big fans of art. Holy God! And so you arrived there and didn't immediately kind of turn tail and get up the first plane home? I mean, you're tenacious at least. You're like, I'm here. I'm living my dream. Did you manage?
I tried so hard. To do it. Like I did as much, and I slept and I got into the bed and fucking hell, I shouldn't have opened my eyes because I got in the bed and she had this weird four-poster bed, and on the top of each corner was these giant eagles that just stared at you.
Oh my God. Okay. So at what point, how long ago is this? When did you get back from the Broadway trip?
October. Last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've had some time to settle.
I had a breakdown. I've been freaking off. I had to take time off because it took me a long time to recover from the stress and the just pure mentalness of that whole trip and coming back, like losing 11.
I have to say, Louisa, I'm so sorry. When I launched into this topic, I had no idea it was this recent and this awful and catastrophic. How is your
crowdfund? By all means, crowdfund. But just know that there's a possibility that if you do donate to somebody who is crowdfunding, it might not go the way that they planned.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, let's tip Louisa. She's at the bottom of the thing here. You can tip. We've already had a couple of people tipping. Louisa gets to keep all of the money that Twitch gives to NextUp. And you can also, she'll get a sweet little something if you sign up for NextUp using the button at the bottom of the window. Kennel Cave says, I mean, wow. Clanger says, hello, Bernie. And that's not the first Bernie mention we've had. Let's do something therapeutic now. Let's talk a little bit about Bernie. Someone asked, I'm going to try and find it. Somebody asked about Bernie. Let's ask some general Bernie questions. How long have you had Bernie?
So I've had Bernie for 2.5 years. Okay. So she is a Bernese mountain dog. Have you ever seen a picture of her? Do you have any idea how big she is?
I've got no idea.
Bernie.
Oh my God! Live dog action. Here goes. We were thinking, show us around your sock drawer. We're doing show us around your menagerie.
Let's see. Bernie, come to mommy. Come to mommy, Bernie.
Okay. There is a question from the Facebook watch party. Was that the Bernie one, Carlos?
Where's Bernie?
Gotcha. Okay. There's a question, that's it, from Catherine Foster's Newton. That's from the Facebook watch party. What made you decide to get Bernie? We'll cover that. Thanks for following Sean McCarthy. Are we going to see Bernie? You can't tease us now. We have to see Bernie.
Hold on. Let me get her. 1 second.
Here we go. Now, in the background, I'm just going to talk you through Louisa's room. That's a very fancy light fitting there. If you're familiar with the Hellraiser movies, specifically Hellraiser 2 or 3, that looks a little bit like Leviathan, the god that presides over hell, which may be why Louisa is currently living a cursed life and being flooded every 10 minutes. Here we go.
Raise it up.
Where's Bernie? Where's Bernie? Is Bernie going to block out the sun? My God, that's a dog. That's a very small horse you have there, Louisa. She's fantastic. So what is she, a Burmese or a bird something?
Bernie's mountain dog, yeah.
Oh my God, like a Swiss mountain dog. Like, do you get her to, do you train her to come along with a little barrel of booze under her neck?
Yeah, she carries a little cosmopolitan, don't you? Yeah.
Oh, how beautiful. How lovely.
Yeah.
Big pooch, bet she's cute, says Clanger. She's lovely. So you've had her for 2.5 years, and just while you're back now, it was someone in a Facebook watch party, Catherine Foster's Newton, that said, "What made you decide to get Bernie?"
So, you made this sad again. So basically,
Oh, no.
So 2.5 years ago, my mum passed away from cancer.
I'm so sorry. I remember hearing about this.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, she but it was so quick, and I'll talk about it in my new show actually. So. Never had a dog before, never wanted one, never thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mum was dying, and I thought, oh, do you know what? I'm going to get one of those. I've seen these really cute puppies that are like just mini bears. I'm going to get one of them. And everybody was like,
Okay.
Are you sure you should get like, is now really the time? You're a comedian. How are you going to handle it? And I was like, my mum's dying. And they were like, do what you have to do. So I was like, thank you.
Totally. Sure.
So I reserved this because they're quite hard to get hold of, Bernese mountain dogs. I reserved this Bernese mountain dog, and I was meant to pick it up after the funeral, and it fell through. Everything went wrong, and it fell through. I got my deposit back, but I had all these giant bags of food and a giant bed, and I'd bought a cage and everything. And everyone was like, "That's a sign from your mum that you're not meant to get one. Like that was your mum saying, don't get the dog like that." And I was like, "Well, she could have given me a better fucking sign, mate. Like, you know, thanks for taking away the only thing I was looking forward to." And then I had a Google alert set up that I forgot about. And my mum's Polish, and a Polish Bernese mountain dog had been returned to the owner because the new owner didn't want her, and she was only like 9 weeks old. And so I rang this woman, and she was Polish. She was fresh off the boat Polish. She was a single mum, and she had that twang that like all my mum's friends, you know, still have, like that gorgeous Polish twang. And I drove 4.5 hours. I was like, I'll just go have a look, but I won't buy it. And then I fucking walked in. It came out with this bear. And then she totally saved my life, Stuart. But she also made me go back to comedy, because the last thing I felt after death or grief or losing somebody is joy. Like the last thing I felt was joy. And I certainly didn't care for bringing joy to other people or wanting to make other people laugh. But Bernie brought me a lot of joy and made me feel really good. And I like talking about her, and through talking about her, I could tell people the story about my mum. And that's how my third show, which was Politics for Bitches, was born. Just because I brought Bernie out on stage and started talking about her. And
that's lovely.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were you taking it to all your gigs, all your previews for that at that time when you were making the show?
So my mum passed away. So my mum got diagnosed in the May and died in the July. So it was super quick.
God. Yeah,
And so we'd just done a little tour of previews, and then I was going to go out on tour with Am I Right Ladies. I was going to do like a proper tour, because I got booked for Live at the Apollo at the time. And you know when you get booked for a live, you're like, oh my gosh, that TV thing will help sell the tour, so I'll have a tour booked. La, la, la. So I had this big tour booked, and then my Charlotte, who was my agent at the time, who sadly isn't anymore, Charlotte was my agent at the time, and she said, look, I've kept the dates in, and we'll do what you feel. My mum said, look, you can cry for 3 weeks after I die, and then you have to go back to work. I was like, okay, thanks. So I went back on tour from September, I think, and the first show was in Bath, and I went on and I tried to do that opening that you've seen, the Am I Right Lady show, like, oh, I'm really happy now, la la, and I couldn't. I was a mess. And then my friend, who was my tour manager, said, oh, there's a crying, because I was like, what's that noise? And he was like, oh, it's Bernie, she's crying in the dressing room. And I was like, bring her out. Listen, guys, I think I'm going to finish the show because I'm not ready. Sorry, I can't do this. I normally do a thigh gap joke, which I know you know because you've seen it, but I don't care for thigh gap. I don't care. Like, my mum has just died, and I just here's Bernie. And then this little giant bear came out.
Little giant bear.
Little giant bear. And I started talking about her and how I got her and how at the time, like, my mum was super clean and like I'd see symbols or signs of love. So like, I remember my mum's bedroom at the time, Bernie took a squat and went to take do a poo. And I was like, it's my mum's bedroom. It's my mum's bedroom that's just passed. I was like, no. And I ran out and I put out my hands and I caught her poo in my hands on my mum's, like, so it didn't even poo. And I was like, that's love. Like, that's love. Like, now I know how my mum felt about me because I'm in her bedroom saying this on the carpet for my dog shitting in it.
Okay.
So just from that, it just grew, and people like afterwards are so lovely, and so many people came up and told me their stories about how they felt they were let down and failed by the lack of proper funding from the NHS and the lack of proper routine checks or the checks or people that fall through the cracks. It's always, you know, it's really hard when there are systems in place, but people fall through the cracks because it's not even and it's not watertight. And lots of
Clanger has just given you a little.
Oh God, I want to go out dancing now. So on Valentine's Day, I organised like a club night after my show. So I would do my show followed by a club night, and it became really themic. So it started in a room under a pizza restaurant in London for like 120 people, and then the last time I did it was at the Forum in Kentish Town, which is like, I think I had about 900 people there, 850, 900 people, and it's amazing and it's massive, and like the last few years I've taken out bank loan to fund it, and because it's expensive to put on. This year I didn't do it because after New York and I'd lost so much money and my agent stopped working her agency and just so many things were coming to an end and to a close, and I was just like, I'm too tired to take any more risks. And I think after my mum had passed, I just went straight back to work. Like, gotta survive this. Gotta make a point. Gotta show her that I can do it and that I can make it and that I can. And I think I was just, to be honest, running away from pain. And so even going to New York or I was just desperate to get out of. I just wanted to be anywhere but here. And actually, it's funny because New York, everything went wrong. But literally everything was saying, "Go home, go home, go home, go home." And I get very, do you know what, Stuart? I don't know how you do this. You really make me chat. Such emotional shit. All you asked me was a question about fucking Bernie, and here I am talking about fucking. There's something about being here now, and with the coronavirus situation, that just feels like everything has worked out the way it was meant to. Like, I was meant to be here. Like, I'm not meant to be in a foreign country trying to do something when something like this kicks off. Like, I'm meant to be here. I was meant to have time out. I needed that time off to just be still. And there's something really healing about that. Like, if you give something enough time, it will heal. And that's what I really feel like is the message for now. Like, so many people are hurting and so many people, you know, are going to be hurt by it, and it's horrible. But the rest of us, hopefully, that are okay and are lucky enough to not have first-hand experience of it, I hope we really learn from this. I hope we really see it as an opportunity to just be still as much as we can and try and do things differently.
Absolutely. I'm seeing a lot of, I almost feel like there's two streams, the two different types of comments that I'm seeing a lot on Facebook of just like, one of them are people going, I'm getting round to so much, guys, I'm doing so much, I'm finally learning Mandarin, I'm writing my novel. And the other stream of people going, just remember, you don't have to use this time to write your novel or learn Mandarin. This is a big, scary thing, and it's fine to be traumatized by it. It's fine to be given cause to pause. It's fine to hide under your duvet for a couple of days. You know, I think what we're going to find as we go into the next few weeks and probably months of it is that we will, as a community, as a world, and as a country, and as a city, and whatever, however you want to slice it, as a comedy community, we will go through various kind of phases and iterations of how we're all feeling. And like I certainly, I don't know about you, I had this incredibly manic week in the first week, if we call this week 3. The first week I just went mad going, my job doesn't exist, what am I going to do, how am I going to make any money? And then I had a week of getting loads done and not really doing enough parenting. I have 2 children now. And then this week I've been much more kind of like, I'm getting that done, and now it's time to parent and to try and compartmentalize it a bit. You've got to try and do that. So what are your What is your situation right now at this time of pandemic? Is
So-
it you
so
and Bernie?
something-
Who else are you
yeah,
living with?
so I'm with Bernie in Birmingham, and my little sister has moved in with me for now. She's staying with me. She's a physio
Fantastic.
for the NHS,
Okay.
but she's also doing a master's, so she's like locum, so she just does a few days. So
Okay.
I'm always worried about her going out. So I'm like,
Sure.
spraying her with bleach every time she comes through the door. And
I don't know if that's official advice. If you're watching on Twitch, there may be some poetic
not
license.
advice, but I do make her take all her clothes off at the door, and I pick them up with the chopsticks and put it straight into the washing machine,
Gotta be
just
done.
to make sure.
Yeah.
But like, it was weird because for a long time I felt so like I hated having the time off because I felt like I was cheating because I wasn't working hard enough. And I knew, and like my friend was like, please, you need to relax, because even if you were working hard now, you'd be no good to anybody because you're burnt out, you're tired. So I feel like I've been self-isolating for a long time.
Sure.
B, I've been used to be not doing much for a long time. And only in the last couple of months did I start setting myself a routine. So getting up every day at the same time, going to the gym, trying to eat better, eating less meat products, trying to eat more like, plant-based food, whatever. And then when the coronavirus hit, for whatever reason, I was like, I'm ready to go back online. I want to go back online and talk to people. So I started doing these Facebook Lives and just going on every day on my Facebook page at 11 o'clock and then in the afternoon. And I just did check-ins every day, and I really enjoyed that. And in the afternoon, I've themed it. So I've done different themes. So some days, the other day, I just read a book. It's very boring, but people seem to like it. I read a book, somebody else's book. What did I read? I read The Tiger That Came to Tea. Classic.
Oh yeah, mate. As a father of two, I read that several times a day sometimes.
It's a great book. He ate everything in the cupboard. What a greedy tiger. I made cupcakes the other day, and I've set up like yourself, like I've set up a Patreon page because I'm going, okay, so I'm self-employed. I don't qualify for a lot of the benefits. I don't know how I'm going to pay my mortgage. You have to get creative, and it's always the creatives that have to be the fucking ones that get creative every fucking time.
The way you say that, do you feel you have had enough pausing and healing time and you're ready to start getting creative, or do you feel like really it would have been good if this whole thing, if it had to happen, could have happened another month or two? You know what I mean? Where are you in your sort of healing?
This is how I think I'm doing well. And the way that I know I'm doing well, which is different to before, is that I'm not forcing anything. So I just naturally was like, oh, I want to go online and talk to people. And then I was like, oh, hang on. In the morning, I'll just do a chat. And in the afternoon, we'll do something fun. So I'll either do a workout with my sisters, but also like training, do bodybuilding, or I'll bake some cakes. And I thought if people want to watch it, they can. If they don't have to. And then people were like watching it and they were enjoying. And I'm not talking hundreds of thousands. I'm talking like 100 or so people, but with 100 more than, me being on my own. So I thought, oh, I'll do that. And then I thought, right, how do I need to find a way to monetize my time now and be smart with what I'm doing in my time. And I'm not sat here writing a novel. I'm not learning Mandarin. I'm not doing anything, that's of a high production value. And so for me, actually going back to work with baby steps and just coming in live and setting up a Patreon and trying to just talk to people and connect again is part of the healing process, is part of the learning process, is part of because here's the thing, Stuart, when we come back from this, like comedy is going to boom. Like comedy is going to boom.
Absolutely. Johnny Meese has just said in the comments, I think as a whole, this might be quite positive for comedy in the long run. As soon as everyone is allowed out as normal, I think there'll be a massive surge in people buying tickets to shows. I'm sure
100%.
that's right. I'm sure you're both right.
100%.
Either that, or it's going to completely kill comedy because people have realised they can have really effective, house parties and Zooms and what have you online afterwards, and they're going to go out into a room with other people. We're all going to get OCD. No, I don't fancy it.
Mate, they'll get tired of that real quick. It's like those open micers that say they're going to be fucking Michael McIntyre in 2 years' time. You're like, let's see you in 5, mate. Let's see you where you are in 5, and then you can talk to me.
Well, there is something about staying power there, isn't there? There's something about resilience and about the people who make it, the people who get to be the creatives. A lot of it is to do with hanging in there. So you're someone, I think, more than most people, you've obviously had not just in this Broadway experience, but the experience of your mum passing away. And then I think also that the sort of the story of you as a comedian has always had an element of it's you versus the world.
Yeah, but why is that? Why? This is why I'm like, do you know what? I'm not against you anymore, world. I'm willing to work with you. Just work with me. That's what I've done with this coronavirus. I'm just going, do you know what? The universe is doing her thing right now. You have to bow to it. You have to be humbled by it, and you have to respect it. And just as long as, like heaven, like I just hope me and my loved ones and my family are safe, and I can do everything in my power to keep them so.
Yeah.
That's all. That's literally all we can do for it. And it's so interesting because my show I'm working on before this happened was called God is a Woman. And it's all about religion and women in religion throughout history and the universe and signs and symbols. And when my mum passed, there was a big thing in the world didn't make sense. Like life doesn't make sense. Even though death is such a massive part of life, it's weird that when somebody dies, I think the strangest thing about death is that somehow you survive it, right? Because when somebody you love so much goes, you're like, I should stop breathing. Why am I still here? Like, this doesn't make sense. And there's a whole thing about just life not making sense in grief. And it's weird now just seeing things unfold. I don't know, more things are making sense. And a lot of that is going, we need each other. Like, it's so obvious. It's always the most, we need each other so much. We need community. We need support. We need love. We need space. Give things time and they will heal. Like, that is what we need. And I feel like there's something in this whole coronavirus. It's quite biblical in a way. It's quite like karmic almost, because it's funny how of all the things that could happen, like it could be so much worse. We could have bombs being dropped on us, right? It could be so much worse. All we have to do is stay indoors and wash our fucking hands. Like, we've all got Wi-Fi normally. Like, so it's actually quite a privileged position to be in. And when this is over, the joy that is going to explode, comedy is going to bloom. Like, it's going to be amazing. We're going to have the best shows. I'm going to put on a Valentine's party. I'll tour and have a great show. You'll tour and have a great show. And like, we'll be all right again. We'll make it work.
Clanger says, only if the parties happen washed in bleach. Histor Crow says, it won't kill live comedy, don't worry. And there is a comment from the Facebook watch party. Claire Barrel says, your check-ins on Facebook make my day.
Oh, that's nice. See, one person. That's all I need to read. Just one person.
That's all you need. That's all you need. We're going to go into another clip now. I just want to take a second to thank Philip Little 42, who's just tipped. Remember, you too can tip if you're enjoying the content and want to support comedy, and more specifically support Luisa Omielan at this time of no live work and what I'm calling the great pivot, as everyone changes to doing things that they weren't necessarily doing before.
Great title.
Thanks, mate. I keep saying it as often as I can. I think it's hashtag the great pivot. This is what happened for artists in 2020. And the more I say it, the more maybe other people will catch up. So you can, underneath the window, there are buttons on the left. You can join Next Up. If you join from this link, then Louisa gets a little kickback of £10 or £20, depending on whether your subscription is monthly or annual. And if you can just tip as much as you want.
In America, they tip like 25%. So
25%. So work out the percentage of what's that of your income. Let's just try and get everyone to tip 25% of their income on that tip button.
Yeah, 25% of your income to my bank account.
And Histor Crow says these interesting streams from comedians will supplement live show in basements, rather like podcasts have done over the last decade or so. I'm sure you're right. Let's go into another clip. This is our second and final clip from Luisa Omielan's show, Am I Right, Ladies?
Here I am. And so my career's going really well. I got flown out to the States last year, right? And I was like, oh my days, they're going to go batshit cray for me in the USA. They are not ready for this jelly in the USA. I was so excited. I met this manager who wanted to take care of my comedy career in Hollywood. And I was like, look how much my life has changed. This time last year, I was at my mum's house. It was Valentine's Day. I shut myself in a onesie, and here I am. Overlooking the Hollywood sign. Guys, reading The Secret, it really works, right? It's amazing. And I was there, right? And the conversation with the manager went like this. Okay, so here's the thing, Lisa. Lisa, I really like you. I think you're amazing, Lisa. Okay, sorry, it's Louisa. It's Louisa. Okay, Lucy, the only problem that I see, Lucy, is how old are you? Oh, well, I'm 30 now. Okay, that's too old. Yeah. You need to be like 21 or 22, or in Hollywood, you're dead. I was like, oh, okay, but like I'll be 31 soon. It's taken me this long just to get to this place. Yeah, nobody cares. The only other problem that I see with you doing really, really well in Hollywood, Lucy, is sorry, you keep saying Lucy. It's not Lucy. It's Luisa. It's Luisa. Omielan. Okay, Charlotte, stop talking. Okay. The problem that I see with you, Charlotte, is this whole figure that you have. I'm sure in the UK it's adorable. But here in Hollywood, the women are really skinny and glamorous, yeah. And that's not really you, no. No skinny and glamorous. Bitches, have you seen my earring? How skinny and glamorous do you want to be, right? He was like, no, all I need you to do, Charlotte, is I need you to not eat for like a year, okay? And I was like, shit, okay. I've never had it to my face like that, so brazen, where I've been quite outrightly told, you're too old and you're too fat. That's hard to take on the chin, babe. Even if you've got two of them, it's still pretty fucking hard, right? Still pretty hard. I was like, oh shit, okay, too old, I'm too fat, okay, that's okay. And I was like, it's Hollywood, that's what it's like out there, you can't take it personally, you are a product out there. And I get being a product. Bitches, don't get me wrong, I like looking fly, clearly. Thank you. I like looking fly, but I also like Greg's, so... And I came back to the UK, and I thought, thank God we're not like that over here. Thank God we're not that shallow and pretentious in the United Kingdom, right? And I came back here, and I went for lunch with a TV producer, and she sits me down, and she goes, now, Luisa, would you like to order a starter and a main course, or a main course and a dessert? I'm sorry, bitch. What makes you think I'm not going to eat the shit out of all three? Right? Bring the bread back. Bring the fucking bread back. Bitch, what are you doing? What the fuck? This is my free lunch. Bitches, when I'm about to sit down and taste my food and enjoy my food, now is not the time to tell me how many calories are on my plate or how long you went for a run that day, bitch. It's called a Happy Meal for a reason. Stop raining on my parade. Because... these are your issues, bitch. These are not my fucking issues. I've got plenty of issues. You'll hear about them in about 5 minutes' time. Fucking body image. Dieting isn't one of them, babe. Nah. Because when you comment about my food and what I'm eating in a diet, do you know what it suggests to me? That suggests to me that you think I need to lose this. And I'm sorry, babe. What makes you think I want to lose this? What makes you think I don't love this? Because I do. I love this. I love this. Do you know what this means? Do you know what this means? This means I go out for dinner with friends. That's what this means. That's what this means. This means, yes, I will have another mojito. Yes. Let's get very drunk and a kebab on the way home. This is a good time. This is someone that knows how to have fun. That's what this means. Do you know, I know some bitches, they save up all month, right? And they don't eat properly, so they can afford to pay their rent and buy a Prada designer handbag. And I'm thinking, I'm sorry, bitches, do you have any idea how much this shit cost me? Dear. No one's gonna steal this. You can't buy this kind of shit and put it on eBay, babe. This is an investment. This is my present to myself. Now, I know it might not be Christmas, but you know when you wake up on Christmas morning and you can't wait to unwrap what's under the tree. You're so excited to see what's under the wrapping paper. I believe bitches should feel like that every morning that they wake up and every night that you go to bed. You should be excited about what's underneath your clothes. You should be proud. All I want for Christmas, all I want every day of the fucking year is to be absolutely all right with liking myself exactly as I fucking am. It's dancing in our pants time! that's so embarrassing. That's so embarrassing. Okay, it's over now. Louise, it's over. Louise, what are you doing? Louise, what are you doing? Louise, what are you doing? Louisa, stop it. Louisa, stop it. Please stop it. Please stop it. Please stop it. Please. Please stop it. Please stop. Please. 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 Oh my God. Please. 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 Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, it's so embarrassing. Oh my God, it's so embarrassing. My thighs are touching each other. Oh my God. It's so embarrassing. My thighs are touching each other. Oh my God, no, that's so humiliating. Oh my God. Oh, they should be like, roll up. Come check out the freak show, bitch, whose thighs are touching each other. Yes, my thighs might be touching each other. Woo! Woo! I'm sorry, bitches. If you were this close to my vagina, wouldn't you start touching yourself? Am I right, ladies? Yeah. I'm so pretty. So, hi there. Sorry. Just gonna put these back on. Sorry. Otherwise I get a bit shy and it's I haven't got any talcum powder. Can somebody get some talcum? Just give me one minute. It won't take long. Just give me a... Good.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is Luisa Omielan in Am I Right, Ladies? Talk to us about that bit, Luisa, before we wrap up. Just tell us, but that is such a phenomenally powerful moment to be, it's so rare that you see someone be so apparently vulnerable and yet completely powerful. When you are walking, when you're shuffling with your pants, your Spanx around your ankles to the front of the stage, and you're literally tottering and shuffling along and almost naked, and you should be so vulnerable and you're so powerful. Talk to us about that moment and what it feels like doing and what that moment means to you.
It used to feel amazing. I haven't done that show for a long time, but something that I always remember when I first started previewing the show, and there was such a pressure for me to follow Beyonce and the success of Beyonce and la. And I remember several people saw that bit and they said, oh, you can't open the show with that, because that's the opening of the show. That's the opening section of the show, what you've just seen. And people were like, oh no, you end with that. Like, you do the whole show and you end with it. Like, that's the thing that you end on, taking all your clothes off, and it's right, raucous and really empowering and uplifting. And I was like, no, because my body and my fatness and my nakedness is not the punchline. And actually, if I get them to be fucking there at the beginning, do you have any idea how much fucking harder what I've got to get to fucking follow that? Yeah. That's the mountain I want to get to. I don't care about this. Is easy for me. This shit, I want to get to there. So actually, it was for myself to make me, I think, better and smarter and stronger as a comic. So I was like, that's not, everyone's going to go, oh my God, that's really, wow, powerful. No, it's not. It's just me in my fucking pants being like, fuck you, you've got issues, I haven't. Sure. Like, what's harder for me is to make you make you think that I can top that, which I can.
Yes.
I did. Pow pow.
Incredible, and that's great. That's such an insight into your craft and the care that you have over your show, and also just that desire to stretch yourself and overreach yourself. Where does that come from? That desire to, like, is it just that you want to be a star? Is it that you want to communicate with people? Is it you want to create a community of fans? What's the biggest thing? What's the root? How will you know when you've got what you wanted?
All of it is not a subsidy. It's a symptom, isn't it? So that idea to want to be a star or famous or successful, that's only to play to bigger rooms. It's not about being recognized when I walk down the street. I'd rather not have that, but be able to fill out massive rooms that are sold out, bam, to create that energy and to do that, because I think it's a gift and a privilege to be able to do our jobs and to have people's attention. We better have something good to say. And there's something about that connection and showing somebody all your humanness, essentially. You're going, here's all my ugly humanness for you to see. And by you laughing and applauding and it makes me feel better, makes me feel connected. And it's just connecting with other human beings and just feeling like you're part of something bigger and you're not on your own in it. And I think that's for me what comedy is. And it's the pure ultimate joy of it. And I would just love to do it. And everything else is just because I go, well, they get to have it and they get to play bigger stages. Why can't bloody I? Which is nonsense, but it's just to create joy. It's the same way, like I see like Sister Act, Whoopi Goldberg, and that makes me feel pure joy. I watch Cher in concert, I feel pure joy. And when I'm on stage doing my shows, I feel that same joy I get when I watch those people, and that's why I want other people to go away with.
And here's the question: are you able to access that feeling of pure joy when doing stuff remotely, or do you think that you might be able to if you're doing your Facebook lives, if you're doing stuff that that might not be part of your plan, but just given the circumstances that we're in at the moment, do you think it's possible that you could get a taste of that whilst you're not in the same room as people? Can you make that same connection?
I think it's really interesting that in a time where we're all together feeling very lost and very vulnerable and very scared, the first thing that felt natural for me to do was to come out of hibernation and to go on live and to go, hi, I'm here too and I don't know what I'm doing. How are you? And that made me feel better. So yeah, I think it's probably all that. I mean, you won't get the high as feeling a room get to a point where you can hear a pin drop, seeing them on the edge of their seat wanting to cry, and then you go, ready, smack, and they go like, that takes time. You can't really get that across in a life, but we can try.
We'll try. Let's wrap up then. So tell us we should follow your Facebook page. What else should we be doing to connect with you? Have you got a mailing list? I feel like there are people watching this now who are going to be like, I know from the Facebook of my podcast, that watch party, there's someone's like, oh my fucking God, who is this? Where can I find her? So direct us.
Just come and send for Facebook or Instagram, the usual social stuff. My friend Dash is doing a website for me. I'm hoping to be touring end of the year, God is a Woman, so check that out. Come and look on my Patreon page.
Hey, this is it. You got to hustle. You got to start. It's day one all over again.
Come and look on there and just do us all a favor and just support live acts and anyone that is self-employed. Yes, support little businesses and shops and things, but even like people watching this, it's amazing because they don't realize the difference that it's making. And comics like ourselves that come on here to have a chat, and it's amazing we've got people that want to listen. So just thank you and keep doing that because it's amazing. So thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much. This is Luisa Omielan, ladies and gentlemen. Please hit your emoji applauses now. We probably won't see them yet because of that little dropout that our bag is absolutely enormous. But let's assume for the moment that you've gone absolutely nuts. I just want to thank everyone that tipped and remind you still can tip. Philip Little tipped. Who else tipped? A bunch of people tipped, and I can't see the little links now, but they were lovely people. Johnny Meese was one of them, and there were other people as well. And we've got their money now. Louisa's got your money. Doesn't matter who you are. It's the first law of the internet.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone that has. And thanks, everyone, for watching on the watch parties and on the Twitch. And I've got a little bit of outro chat for you, which is that you can follow this channel. Remember to follow the channel and to go to nextupcomedy.com/now. There are more streams coming all this week and into next week. Check out Louisa's show on Next Up. You can see the rest of it now that we've whet your appetite. And remember, changing daily. Tomorrow morning is the breakfast show with Tiernan Duyeb, Beck Hill, and Matthew Heighton. Lovely people, wonderful comedians, all of them. And followed by tomorrow night, a very special show, a very special edition of Pope's Addiction Clinic with Pope Lonergan. So look forward to that. I've been Stuart Goldsmith. You can follow me at ComComPod, at Stu Goldsmith, or you can download my podcast, which, let's face it, if you're watching this, you probably already know about. But thanks very much. An absolute joy to have you here and to speak to Luisa Omielan. Thank you, Luisa. I nearly called you Lisa. Can you imagine at the very end? Charlotte Omielan.
Thanks, mate. So nice to talk to you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Carlos, and all the technical team for keeping us on the straight and narrow. Bye for now.
And I'm gonna chase it. And I'm gonna chase it. I know we can't ignore it. And I'm gonna chase it. And I'm gonna chase it. I know we can't ignore it.
At least I don't wee out of my bum.
Why are you just looking at me? What are you just staring at me for?
That is the stuff!
Oh, fuck off, I love it.
Is this a humiliation stick?